We are doing it. We have our financial goals. We've created a budget. We looked at our expenses. We looked at our income. We figured out where we can cut back, and now we're cutting back. We have this extra disposable income, and where can we put it? We want to put it towards these financial goals, these short-term and long-term, so that we can stay accountable, hit our financial goals by the due date that we set. But now, where do you actually put it? Do you just keep it in your savings account? Do you hide it under your mattress? Where does it go? And what is the best case in order to make your money work for you? Well, today I'm going to jump into that. But first, I want to say how proud I am that you actually went through part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series in order to make it this far. This is a huge milestone in your financial journey. 99% of people will never make it this far in their financial journey because they don't want to take the time to hold themselves accountable, to learn, get that knowledge, and actually use it and take action in this world. Before we dive in, make sure that you guys have watched part 1, 2, and 3. If not, you can start here by watching part 1 of this series, which hopefully that'll lead you to part 2, part 3, and then eventually back into this video. But like, subscribe, and comment down below. How are you liking this series? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are some things you want me to go more in depth on? And yeah, let's just jump into part 4 on how to actually become financially free on the start of your financial journey. So where should this money be going? We are saving all this extra cash because we've cut back on the expenses that we don't actually need to survive. We have this extra cash. It's disposable. We could go spend it if we want, but that's not it. We want to be responsible adults with our financial journey to actually reach the goals that we set for ourselves. We challenged ourselves. We set a due date. We said exactly how much we want to spend. And now we need to know where to put it to maximize our dollar. Every single dollar should be working for us to give us the best return. Hopefully you already have an emergency fund set up. If not, maybe you're just putting it into a high interest savings account to where that money can just save and build money for you. Or maybe you need to get rid of debt. So that money's going towards all the debt that you have so you can knock it out so that your money can actually have compound interest work for you and not against you to where you're paying that interest to the bank. I don't know what you guys are in, what scenario you guys are in. Hopefully you have your financial goals. Hopefully you have an emergency fund. Hopefully you're paying off your debt and now you're reaching the goals that you actually set for yourself, your fun goals that you want to reach. And that is why you want to put that money into a high interest savings account. Listen, I know most people have a savings account. Most people do. But did you know that most savings accounts don't give you any interest? Or let's not say any interest, but it's like 0.4%. So basically nothing. That would be equivalent to if you have $5,000 in a savings account, you would get around $25 per year in interest. But if you have it in a high interest savings account, that could be anywhere from 4 to 5% in savings and actually save you $250 every single year. That's how much it would actually make you. So that compound interest would be working for you. You'd be getting $250. So not only is your money in the account, you're building this account, you're saving more money, you have all this disposable income that you can save towards these goals, but now your money is also working for you. And the more money you put in that account, the more money you will make because your money is working and growing all by itself. So personally, I would have 2 separate accounts. An emergency fund account that's in a high interest savings account, and then also your savings account that you are using to reach other financial goals. I know personally at my bank, I have a high interest savings account. I also have other financial high interest savings accounts that are for specific funds. So I have a car fund. I have a travel fund. I have all these different bank accounts, and you want to check with your bank, but most banks, you have to have a required amount in each account. Luckily for me, it's $250 and you get no penalties. So I get high interest savings on all my savings that go into these accounts. And as long as I have $250 in it, I don't get penalized or anything like that. So I like to keep them separate because I don't want to use my emergency fund for the savings and the financial goals that I do have. I want that always to be there in case of an emergency, not for a new car or traveling or whatever. I want to have that there for an emergency. And then I also have my high interest savings account that's earning me money on top of my money for all my different financial goals, whether that be a car, a house, traveling, whatever it is. Let's go back over this. In part 1, we set our financial goals. We know we want the emergency fund. We know we want to pay off our debt. And now we have our financial goals that we want to obtain and reach by a certain due date, a certain amount, and exactly how much we're going to save every single month in order to reach that goal. Step 2, we went and we opened up all our bank statements, our credit card statements. We opened up our everything. We could see all our transactions and we categorized them into our wants, our needs, and our savings. After you categorize them, you could see exactly what you needed to live, exactly what you were spending money on that you don't need in order to live, and then how much you were saving. You want to make sure that your needs are 50% or below, your savings are at 20% or above, and then that extra 30%, that's your wants. That's where you can actually cut back, which is what we talked about in part 3. You can cut back on those expenses, on those transactions, and use that money to start funding these high interest savings accounts that are attached to your financial goals. And that's what part 4 is opening up high interest savings accounts for these goals, specific goals, so that you can reach them. But not only can you reach them, but also your money is working and growing for you at the same time you're funding these accounts every single month. And another thing about this part is make sure that these are automatic payments towards your high interest savings accounts. Maybe it's every single paycheck, you're just going to deposit $200 into this high interest savings account. Or maybe it's every single month, you're gonna make sure that $200 comes from your checking account to your high interest savings account that's specifically for the trip or the house that you wanna buy or the trip that you wanna take by May of 2025. I don't know. Whatever it is, just make sure it's automatic because you wanna make sure that you're paying yourself first. And by doing so, it is actually happening. It's not just, oh yeah, I need to do that, and actually now I'm gonna go eat out a little bit and now I don't have the money to actually put that money in the savings account. Make sure you're doing it because it'll keep you accountable and it automatically does it. So it's gonna be like you're not even, seeing it happen, but it is happening. You're not actually having to manually go in there and do that. It's just automatically gonna do it, kind of like a, every month thing that just keeps going, did it again, and eventually you're gonna have money stacked up in this high interest savings account, and that money's just gonna keep growing for you. And that's an easy way to hold yourself accountable while at the same time making sure that you're reaching and, reaching for those goals in order to actually complete them. Make sure you do go and log in and look at those accounts. Because personally, I know that when I see my accounts growing, it motivates me more and more. Every single time I go back into my accounts and I'm like, oh, I'm up $300, I'm up $400, I'm up $500. I just want to keep stacking and keep seeing how fast I can make it grow. It motivates me. It creates an even bigger sense of urgency because I want to hit those goals faster. By seeing it actually work, that motivates me even more to where I want to do it even more. So make sure you're actually going in and just looking, see what your accounts are doing, see how you're actually reaching and striving for those goals, because eventually you're going to reach those goals and it's going to be an amazing feeling. But until then, just go and look at them, go check them out, and you'll see how much fun it is to actually be working for yourself, for your future self, to make yourself live a rich life while also striving and reaching for a rich life. Remember to hit that bell icon, because part 5, I'm going to wrap up this series and it's going to be fun. So subscribe, hit that bell icon, and remember, you can do all things through him that give you strength. See you guys.